What's up everybody, and welcome back to another video. Thank you for clicking on this video. You will not be disappointed. This is actually a subscriber requested video. I'm just going over some of my offensive schemes and some of the formations I love to run. So as you see here, I am running gun split close, and it is out of the Patriots playbook, and it's a very versatile formation. So as you can see, I run X drag trail, halfback wheel, PAY shot, and I also run just one run play out of that. But I have had a tremendous amount of success out of this formation, and I'm going to break down what I'm looking for and how I'm reading the defense and who I'm going to watch and where my progressions will start. So right here I'm also showing a run play I actually already did a video on out of single back wing tight. This is the halfback wheel, and I just got a little bit of cheese here, but my offensive scheme typically is halfback wheel mixed with a little bit of gun split close, and I like to interchange and run both formations probably back to back most games. And so I'm just showing you guys I have it on all Madden, and let's see, we're gonna go ahead and go into practice mode. And we always have to play on all Madden because even though competitions are done on all pro, we want to be able to simulate having a user, and I feel by having that extra defensive difficulty, it will help us adequately show how this play really works and how this scheme works against users and also AI. So right here, I'm going to go right over to gun split close. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I have the right personnel. That's very important in any scheme, is making sure your personnel is exactly what you want. For instance, I'm going to put in Philip Dorsett because there's a post route that I really want to have speed on. So I want to have James White there at that first halfback spot because he's got great hands, and that's the type of thing you're going to want to look for. You want to check the ratings for catching, you want to check your wide receivers for release, speed. You want to just have the best set possible. And as you can see, one thing I typically run with the gun split close pats is X drag trail, halfback power O, halfback wheel, and PAY shot. That way I can target every defense, any formation. I can tackle it with this. And I do have that one run play which isn't always very successful, but just throwing in that run is going to throw off your opponent, and that's what you're really trying to do, is confuse your opponent, stay in the same formation, they don't know where it's coming from, and you can just move right down the field. So as you can see, I'm going to start with X drag trail, and my first read, because you can see that there's a single high safety, is going to be Edelman. With a single high safety, you can expect one of three things. It could be cover 3, cover 1, or cover 2 invert. Now with cover 2 invert, I'm not going to worry about too often because typically people will run a cover 3 or cover 1 way more often. And so as you can see, I do have the purples on either side, so we're just going to go ahead and simulate somebody running purples on either side. And I'm just going to look for Edelman first on the drag, and as everyone knows, against cover 3, you want to look for drags or seams. And as you can see, Edelman gets open, the curl pulls the linebacker way up, and I can just get an easy first. Now that drag is going to be huge, because 90% of the time that's going to be open, unless of course someone hard flats, and in that case I'm going to watch Gronk. So as you can see, I am blocking RB as well just to give myself a little bit more time. I see that X is taken care of, and so I hit Gronk, and typically you're going to get a little bit of a better ball there. Gronk had to jump for it there, but In all reality, that's going to be open 90% of the time, and when somebody is usering, they're going to have to pick, because you don't just have that Gronk going across the left side, but you have Edelman, which will get taken away by the hard flat. Then Gronk could be taken away by a user. Now you're going to have that Y route cutting straight in. You can hit them with a low pass, LT or L2 on PlayStation, and hit Y or triangle. So there's a tremendous amount of versatility in this, but like I said, reading that single high safety, I'm going to assume it's cover 3, and if it were cover 1, all I would have to do is take my B receiver on the right side and motion him out and see if it's man, because if it is man, the man corner will stay directly on top of him. So that's just one of the reads that I'm going to make. Now I'm going to switch it to nickel 3-5 wide, something a lot of players like to run. And then as you can see, I'm just running cover 1. And so I could be reading this as a cover 3. All I see is that there's a single high safety. Okay, so my first read, like I said, is going to be at Edelman. Looks like Edelman's open, and he doesn't have much speed, but he's got great route running, so that's another stat that you're going to be wanting to look at. And let's see here. Another thing that you really want to make sure of is your offensive line. If you're getting rushed a little bit too quick, check out the stats on your offensive line and make sure that you don't have, someone in a spot that they really shouldn't be. For instance, you want to make sure you got adequate pass blocking, because I've had situations where I'm getting rushed, and then I realize, maybe you're playing a franchise and your left tackle's hurt. You just have to really be careful about matchups and making sure that you have the exact personnel that you need to defeat your opponent. And as you can see, Gronk gets open against man as well. He was a little bit tight on that, but I also pass commit on defense. So that definitely is going to cause that. Let's see here. Let's just change the play up a little bit. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to go right back. Gun, split, close, pats. And let's see here. Let's just run another defense. Let's go nickel 2-4-5. So let's see here. So what I see is the two high safeties. So they're nice and spread apart. So we can assume that this is a cover 2. Now using X drag trail, if we're going to assume that's a cover 2, I'm going to want to look at B, because that B on that post is going to destroy cover 2. So we're going to look for it here. And it looks like he has a little bit of space. Now that wasn't the greatest look, but typically you're going to have a little bit more time than that. And I probably should have thrown the ball maybe a half a second earlier, and it could have been a touchdown. But as you can see, this play does gouge most formations and most plays. As you can see, I could have scored with Gronk there. It's just a very, very good play. And this is X drag trail. So let's see here. Let's switch it up. Now let's just run a man blitz. Now remember, on defense, if you're running a man blitz, all you have to do is pass commit, because if they do run, your man blitz is most likely going to wrap it up, especially if you have a decent user. Now more importantly, if they pass, then you'll have a way better percentage at getting a pick, because your players in man will be much closer to the wide receivers because of that tip-off. Now the X drag trail is my favorite play out of gun split close. The PAY shot, the halfback wheel, and the power O are also extremely good plays, especially when you use them one after the other. One thing that you can do is come out with that power O, run it once, then switch to the X drag trail, Switch it up as much as you can. But what's great about all of the plays is they can target each type of coverage in each play. So there's a cover 3 beater in Y shot, there's a cover 3 beater in halfback wheel, there's a cover 3 beater in X drag trail, and there's a cover 1 beater, and every coverage has a beater in each play, so you can really confuse people, and it's an extremely balanced formation. So as you can see, I'm going to throw another blitz here, and my main read is always going to be that drag right to Edelman. Now most users will be able to pick up that drag or put a hard flat, but like I said earlier in the video, that's why you have the Y route and the A route. And most people will like halfback wheel a lot more than X drag trail, but X drag trail is my personal favorite. I would take this formation and take this play right to practice mode and continuously run it so you can learn the timing of the play, and it can be extremely effective. Now I'm going to change this defense up a little bit just to show this play, like I said, is extremely versatile. So this is a situation where I'd be going against, say 3-4 under. Okay, like I said, I notice the cover 3 just because of that single high safety always. And like I said, of course it could be a cover 1 as well. But let me change it up to halfback wheel, and I'm going to show you how I run halfback wheel. This is probably one of my best plays as well, and I put Gronk on a 10-yard hitch. Typically a high point to him is going to solve any issue where I'm getting rushed a little bit too quickly. And notice how I have White with good carrying and good speed going on that table route. And as you can see, it was cover 3, so the table route was wide open. Now that will get taken away by somebody hitting Y and then down on the right stick, which is underneath coverage. Then I switch to the power O, and of course in practice mode there is crazy block shed, so that is not an accurate representation of what typically happens in an online game, which I will be posting more gameplay on. But let's test out PAY shot, which is another play out of this, and what I do is I put Michelle going out to the sideline, and then I have crossers on Gronk and also on Edelman, I believe I have there. And then I take Dorsett and motion him out to the right. That's another tactic I like to use, is taking a wide receiver and making the defense focus on it just by doing that motion. So let's see here. Now, one thing that is extremely important as well, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, having Gronk on a 10-yard hitch, or whoever you have at tight end, if you can just leave them 10 yards up the field, you're going to go through your progressions, you're going to go through your reads, but having a big tight end target just sitting there in the middle of the field ready for a high ball is going to be extremely valuable. Now, the first read I would suggest going against a single high safety is always going to be the table route, or like we did before, the drag route. So let me switch to a cover 2. And I'm going to show you. So like I said, I see two safeties spread apart. If it was cover 4, they'd be closer together. Now I'm going to motion out B, and I'm just going to see if I can get the opponent to focus on my B receiver going out. Now you see there, I could have done something with that, but I decided to throw it away. But as you can see, you can make a lot of things happen. You can playmaker people of the field, and I'll switch to a blitz here, and I'll just run a power O. And of course I get swallowed up by the all Madden block shed. However, this is going to be extremely effective against any user. Now I'm going to show you the PAY shot one more time. So I take RB and I put it on just an out right to the sideline. Then I'm going to take my other halfback on the left side and just block them. Then I have Edelman and Gronk running on those deep crossers, and B is going to be on a streak. And B is just going to take the attention of that safety right at the top. He's going to drop back for B, and that opens up X right in the end zone. Now, I did not target that. I thought Gronk would have a better one-on-one. However, I did make the wrong decision there, clearly. But typically in game, I don't have these issues, and my main scheme is to run, and I almost never pass. I only pass when I have to. I'd rather keep the ball all day and keep control of the game and keep control of the clock. Now there, I really should have put a Dorsett so I could get some separation. Edelman had no separations, but luckily he just went ahead and caught that. And if you are having trouble running the Power O, you want to make sure you identify the mic. That will help you get a little bit extra yards, and then mix in the other passes, and it's going to be extremely effective. And I'm going to end with this, just a little clip. I also run the pitch with the halfback dive. But thank you, Choices to Make One. Thank you for the suggestions, bro. And just like, subscribe, and thank you guys for watching. I'll be back tomorrow.